Oh, there she is. Oh, yay. Okay. All the way from Destin, Florida, or is it Crestview, I think, Florida. I am so
Yes.
excited that you're here with us. Thank you so much for coming and for making time for us in your busy schedule. I know that you've been speaking a lot, but this is an amazing time for us, and we look forward to everything that you're going to bring, to us today. What are you going to be talking about today?
Well, today, thank you. And it's such a pleasure. Actually, we're going to talk about self-sabotage, how to break free from that. And we're looking at some strategies to overcome it, to break the cycle, to look at some of our behaviors, and just how it applies to personally and in business because they do bleed into each other. So we want to do some strategies and I want to give you some thinking, some action steps, and just jump right in and just move on and let's see what we can do to stop that, even though it's natural to do so. But we just want to see what we can do about breaking free from it, from those chains.
Well, I am excited. I want to be just a fly on the wall, just so I can be a learner among learners. So, with that, I'm going to go backstage so you can just have the full setup here. Please, share with us everything that you brought.
All right, not a problem. Okay. All right. Jovan, you can go ahead and start slides for me, please. Okay, we have, like I said, breaking free from self sabotage. And we do this every day, sometimes not even thinking about it, especially when let's say, for instance, we could start our day waking up early or the alarm not going off. So, as that quote says, your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own guarded thoughts. So, when we guard ourselves, a lot of times we add more stress and more cloudiness. So, I want to work with you, just give you some ideas and overview on how to overcome the inner enemy. And I love to say, within you, if you look at the word enemy, it's inside me, is how I look at enemy in me. So what can we uncover today? We're going to get the strategies and just moving forward of what actually is sabotage. How can we change it? Give me some practical tips on it also. What can we do? Making sure that it's moving here for us. Did you see it change on your screen? This one I need to make sure. So understanding self-sabotage. What exactly is self-sabotage? It's basically it's active and it's passive. You're preventing yourself from reaching your goals, and it's any type of goals. It can be your short term, it can be your long term goals, and it's any behavior or thought pattern that blocks the success that you have and the stress that you're actually coming on and moving forward with. Another example, when you sit, I want you to think about what is self sabotage. What are some life examples that have it? For in business, you can procrastinate on crucial projects that could advance some of your careers, and something personal that can have you can avoid the difficult conversations. This can happen in business too, avoiding the difficult conversations that you have also. So the difficult conversation aspect is how it could lead to having better relationships, better conversations. And this doesn't mean your personal, if you're married, if you're a boyfriend, girlfriend, these are friendships. These are ones that to keep going on and moving on. What are you building? These are new relationships. These are new people that can help advance you in your career and personally, especially where it needs to go, what you can and what you can't do. Another one is health and fitness. You sit there and say you continuously supposed on starting a workout routine or eating healthier because, oh, when you say I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It's the belief that you're thinking that you don't have enough time, despite knowing it would improve your well-being. So what else can we do? It can be an aspect of financial management is another one. And this is in personal and business. I'm going to interchange these both, give you some examples when it's in personal and when it's in business aspect. Um, in financial management aspect of it, it's avoiding checking your bank account or budgeting because you're in fear of seeing how much you've spent because you're trying to do your best and staying on budget. It's going to lead you to more financial stress. It's going to be poor money management, but it's a self-reflection of you. So instead of taking it and looking it in the face and saying, no, I'm going to do it today, you kind of get a shame aspect of it, or you start beating yourself up. So instead of you taking the choice and the time to, let's say, let me do that, let me face it, let me not avoid it, go ahead and do that, because it's not shaming, it's showing the growth that you have for yourself and what more that you want to do. It's unraveling some of the sabotage. Some of these lessons also, they don't come from just what you have done. Some of these are maybe just what you've seen, especially as growing up, something that we saw parents do, or just the environment around us. We kind of take on the environment and what people do unintentionally because it's there. It becomes routine as we use our different senses. Our vision, our hearing, sometimes it still feeds into our mind. It still feeds into what our minds are processing, and it makes us like a robot. It makes us do it in a sense. I mean, we do have choices to whether take it in and process it and act on it, or we have the choice to not sit and act on it. An example too is like networking avoidance. Some of these other things is you don't want to go network because you're uncomfortable being around a big crowd, or it's an event that you haven't gone to before, it's new, despite knowing that networking, it could open up new business opportunities for you and partnerships. You just will still avoid it, declining invitations, or you'll say you'll go when you really, you don't want to go, or you're going to start doubting back and forth. Should I go? I don't want to go. Or it's like the fear is actually starting to actually take over. And that's not something that you want to let take over for you. So as we're looking at some of the roots of self-sabotage, where is it coming from? A lot of times it's the fear of failure, as we see. So why do we self-sabotage? And sabotage, actually, we sabotage our greatness because of our fear. And then put the word fear and add another word after it. As we have here, fear of failure, the fear of success, we have imposter syndrome, and we also have a low self-esteem. So for an example, when the fear of failure, as you're avoiding risk to prevent potential disappointment or even embarrassment. But this is our lens. We may feel we might be embarrassed, or we're not good enough to do something, or we don't know enough. For instance, a lot of people in public speaking or even presenting, or we're not as good as they are. We might make a mistake. We don't want to look as embarrassed, or we don't want to look green. But in order to overcome that, we have to actually do that. And as an entrepreneur or a business person, an entrepreneur, for example, they might be avoiding expanding their business because they're afraid of not being managed the growth. So you're stunning yourself because of fear. The next one is the fear of success. Growth is good when it's coming in, but you'll stop yourself because of the fear of the increased responsibilities. And that's one thing that I see a lot of people working with, a lot of people in Coming County. They don't think of fear of success. They just think of fear of not doing. But to me, I think fear of success I see is a lot more because of we're kind of accustomed to programming of what fear of failure, the feeling with it. Fear of failure has such a bad negative connotation to that, and what we're taught. Failure is bad. Failure is not bad. Failure is a lesson. That's how I like to say, first attempt in learning. You have to fail in order to succeed. With failure, it is you don't know if that solution is good for that problem unless you try it. Now, you may not have, like, this didn't work for me, but let me set it over here. It's just this solution did not work for this problem that I'm trying to solve. And you learned from that, which it shouldn't be a bad feeling, even though it could be under some deadlines or you have to get this done fairly quickly. Just taking the chance and the risk that it takes that let's move forward, let's do that. Have a feeling, the same feeling that you get of joy. And one thing that I actually saw when I was reading, and it's triggers. What triggers people? Triggers, it could be a past thoughts, or it could be someone's word, how it's affiliated, how that trigger affiliates to a negative or a unpleasant feeling. One thing that I learned is like a new term is called glimmer. So glimmer is what positive feeling can I relate to this? And it was so, and I was like, you know what, that's good because you never really hear the opposite of a trigger. So I'm starting to more implement in teaching glimmer. Where can I invoke this positive feeling that it didn't work out, but what did work out for me? Be proud of yourself that you even tried to cross that line to even do it. You went ahead you went ahead of it. And a lot of times you have some of the fear, some fear of rejection that you have a lot of times too that comes with all these, especially imposter syndrome. When you're feeling undeserving of success or leading, like it says, to self-doubt or underperformance. What defines when you start feeling you don't deserve it? Why don't you deserve it? What is the root of you feeling why you don't deserve it? From my experience, it's a lot of times of people giving more than taking in. Their cup is always empty. And a lot of times we say, which it was so neat of doing this with children. And I also saw a video of it. They put, and it was resolving conflict, but it's still interpersonal. And they took a cup. It was a glass, clear glass, and the water was halfway in the glass. And it asked the students, and they were younger, it said, is a glass half full or half empty? Of course, some said half full, said half empty, but one of them said, it's neither. It's in the middle. And it's such that innocence of, I don't have to worry about if the answer is right or wrong. I don't have to worry about what other people are thinking because they asked me. I don't have to be chained by others' opinions. And it was so nice to see that lens of, yeah, it's in the middle. I can either feel like it's half full, and this is how relating to triggers and glimmer. The glimmer of it is it's half full. I only have a little bit more, or it's half empty, and I'm going on empty. All my eggs are in one basket, and I'm depleting them. Or, like we said, in the opposite view is it's filling up more. I only have halfway to go. So when you think about these, especially in relationships and in business, a lot of times is, what about when we delegate? We resist to delegate a lot of times. If you look at that glass in the half full and half empty, a business person or yourself, you might avoid delegating tasks to your team or keep them all to yourself because you're fear of losing control. Or you believe that no one else can do this job as well as I can. So I'm going to do it myself and I don't want to give it away. And this often leads to burnouts and your stunted business growth. And that's what we don't want. But it's the fear of delegation because you don't want to let go. And I see this a lot when people or the departments are small or they downsized or even people just starting a new department because they don't want to, they feel which is good, you want things done right, but you got to implement trust that they're going to do it. They're going to feel they're not going to be able to do it as well as you can, or they may even do it better, but you won't know until you give them that opportunity to do so by delegating that actually to them. And it's neat to see when you release just a little bit of that and move forward, it gives you that confidence that you can do it again. So we have to practice that. We're practicing accepting the fear of failure, but putting a bit different feeling with it. Fear of failure can be positive for that because you have to have failure and to have success. And what I mean by failure, like I said before, you have to have a lesson before you can succeed. So you can do it, again. But also don't get in that comfort zone box to stay there and complacent with doing the same thing over without opening your mind and looking at other ways or more efficient ways to maybe do different things. One is too, when we look at all these roots of self-sabotage, is pursuing your passion. So not pursuing it is you may have a lifelong dream, and it's like writing a book or starting that new hobby because you're afraid you won't be good at it. It's okay, because you might fail, but I like to say you might learn a lesson. It can lead to regret. It can lead to unfulfilled potential. This is what you're thinking when you're actually having that feel of failure. Launching new products, you might think, they may not like the product. They might not like the service because it might not succeed in the market. You can do all the research you can, but until you actually step forward and do that, you're missing an opportunity for your growth and innovation because you're very smart and we're all made uniquely with our gifts for us to sit and give them to the world. We have to give what we have. No, and that's what it comes to when I say, and especially with that fear of delegation, we have our gifts that no one else will be able to, or as good as we, because we have our own thinking and we have our own experiences, and that's what makes it good when you have a team and you spread it. So spread the root of disabling the sabotage, but recognizing some of your roots of self-sabotage. And one thing too that I working with other people also, another big one is, let's take it personal. Your 5 pillars are taking care of yourself inner, as we said, like in that the cup being half full. And let's say a weight loss journey. Many of you may be trying to weight loss or tone or just get in a better health position, period. You may be fear of the attention or expectations that might come with achieving your fitness goals. But again, we're letting those opinions of others instead of standing strong on what we are. But we have to be able to not worry about that, especially with the imposter syndrome. I see a lot with students, or even these are lifelong learners. It doesn't just have to be people, thinking the younger they're in the students. It can be you downplay your academic achievements, or applying for an advanced degree or position because you feel like you may not qualify for that. Yes, they do have an outline or a blueprint in academic achievement of what it takes but sometimes think outside the box. You never know what they can substitute sometimes personal work experience when it comes to academics. I know lifelong experience can substitute sometimes for, let's say, a degree. And it doesn't, I think the biggest thing too comes from it when just ask the question. It's okay to get a no. The word no is not a bad word either. And that's another thing. Also, that some people, they come out of their comfort zone, they don't know how to say no, or they're afraid to say no because it might hurt someone's feelings. But then we put ours as, it's like to say in a root of the tree. All these roots at the bottom of this tree are you. They're your dreams, your aspirations. You look at it but they're mixed with some of your fears. Some of those fears in your self-sabotaging, they're rotting at this root, and your trunk cannot be strong and it can't branch out as it branches at the top. You can't bloom from that. So you have to get rid of your rotting roots. Or I like to say also is heal those rotting roots. So they're stronger, they all can work together. Use it to your benefit and get some of that weight off you and show that you are this person that you believe you are. But those roots are there. They're made there, but it comes with pruning. You have to prune them. We have to prune ourselves and see what is left. What can we, as with some plants, they get too many in the flower bed. You have to separate some of the flowers so they have more room to grow. That's what we need to do sometimes with our roots. We need to separate and plant more seeds when it comes to delegation with our businesses and move forward. And other things that I like to look at is, how can we, what do we do when it comes next? What we're doing? How can we recognize some of these self-sabotaging things? And when it comes to business, the number one thing is procrastination. I like to say is eat your frog, eat the biggest frog. And that's the book too that I like to read and actually give to students and some of my adults clients is stop delaying those important tasks. If it's going to take the longest, just do it. And yes, it is easier said than done at times, even for me. I mean, I'm going as I'm teaching and going through this with you guys too. This accounts to my life too. I have to do some of these things too because sometimes I will self sabotage, but I have to recognize what am I doing, especially with perfectionism. I love things to be exactly how I want them. I don't want any hiccups. And it's like it has to be exactly right. And this, the perfectionism, it keeps me at times behind the starting line where I don't even move. But I have to recognize, why aren't you moving? Sometimes imperfection is perfection. And that's what I tell myself. Some ways to recognize that it's not always going to be perfect, but imperfect could be perfect. Somebody's going to get it. Someone, what is being said, something what you're doing, it's going to resonate with them. So, setting some unrealistic, these very, very high standards that prevent you from even moving, it's going to make you feel your confidence go even less because you have these high standards. Now, I'm not saying don't set any standards for yourself, but these high ones that you set for yourself that you may seem you never can get to, you're setting yourself up for a constant feeling of I'm not able to do this. I don't like saying the word can't. A lot of times that's the thing I don't like saying. But I think it's the thing of when it comes, like I said, that the self talk. I don't like to say I can't. And if you say I can't, one powerful word that I love to put at the end of the sentences is yet, because you're telling your mind what you can and you can't do. So it's I'm not able to do this yet, or I'm not able to do this at this moment, because you're saying I can do this, but just not at the moment. But you still have to take that encouragement for yourself and reflect on it and look at your own behaviors and your thought patterns to reverse some of it. Biggest thing, biggest thing to do. So one example I want to give you is, let's say you you're realizing that turning down opportunities due to fear of failure is a form of the self-sabotage. So you not applying for that promotion because you felt there was self-doubt also for this. So what are you going to do about it? It's great that you recognize it when you're in, and you have to be transparent as it's looking in the mirror. You know the whole truth. You know the transparency. You know if you're in denial, if you want it. But a lot of times that it's not so much negative self-talk when you're being honest and truthful with yourself. You know that you're stopping yourself from doing this, and you're thinking maybe at times, how do I get over it? It's implement some of that, not implement, it's extinguish that negative self-talk, because your ears are hearing you, your mouth is having the words come out your mouth. So your mind is taking what you're saying that as to be truth, because it has no how you say it doesn't have a meter saying this is not, oh, they're just feeling this way right now. It's taking it, everything that you say is the honest truth, and you truly, truly feel this way. And so extinguish that negative self talk that you have. Now in avoiding, this is what oftentimes too, and avoiding is you avoid difficult conversations, difficult situations. And so you limit yourself in all aspects of growth. It's not just personal and professional. I want you to also look at the growth of having fun. That is what's gone a lot of times too. You prevent yourself from having fun when you self sabotage and just enjoying the passion or pursuing what you have, especially with perfectionism. You take out the joy of why you're doing something, the reason why you're doing it. What is it? What is the benefit of even doing it? I want you to think about putting the fun and enjoyment in doing it. And everything is not meant to be fun, but everything should have a why you're doing it and a passion for doing that. And if it's to benefit other people, that's fine. It should benefit you too. It should have a piece of you. You implement 100% piece of you into it. It should be worth it. And the greatest thing that I've seen, and even from my experiences, a lot of times when I don't, I sit and think, why am I here? What am I doing? Especially when things may become chaotic. I prefer things not to be chaotic. I like stuff structured, but not too structured. Because when it's too structured, you're sitting and saying, did this go right? Is this on time? It's like breathe, have fun with it. It's okay. And one of the other things too, which a lot of people may not talk about, especially I love this is Wellness Wednesday, because especially with the mental health aspect of it, when you use a lot of self-medication, you use substances and habits to cope with the stress. This is nothing of self-sabotaging. It's real. You may feel it's a remedy in the moment, but is it going to be a good remedy for the future? And with remedy, same with the word enemy. Remedy, it's in me. If you look at the word, and it has in me remedy. I am the remedy. Me. I have the choice to recognize it. I have the choice to change it. I have the choice to pursue my passion with a smile. And it's not always bad to pursue that passion with tears. It shows you're alive. It's showing that you're feeling yourself. You're growing emotionally, as we speak in some other trainings and episodes on co-working about emotional intelligence. You grow when you feel. Becoming numb. That's another thing too. That is, you become numb, not recognizing self-sabotage. And that's, like I said, and those some of the things that come with it is, what do we do to break that cycle? What can we do for the cycle? The biggest thing, as we spoke about, was the awareness. You find certain actions and thoughts that are holding you back, and I love how it says the only staircase between you and your dreams is the one you build with your own doubts. How big are some of your staircases? Are they 5 steps? And are they going up or are they going down? Doesn't matter which way it's going. It's how many steps are you building between those. That awareness, like we said, those actions and those thoughts. What's holding you back? What is truly, I would say, truly overwhelming you? Is it some of those bigger projects maybe that you need to make smaller? Or some of the actionable steps are you trying to avoid? Are they overwhelming you? Looking at the steps. One thing is practicing a mindfulness. And what is your mind full of? Is it full of the negative self-talk? Is your mind full of positive self-talk? And like I said, it's okay to be in the moment when it can come out negative. But again, it's not so much negative, so much when it's truth. If it's a fact and it is happening, but you just don't linger and stay there. You say it because you're feeling it. You're working through that. But be a part of it. But what are you filling your mind with again? Have your mind full of positive thoughts. Have your mind full of things that you want to change. Shift your mind. As you're saying, replace those empowering ones. And it's the best thing to look at too is if you're a mentor and you have people that look up to you. When it comes to if you're a parent, a teacher, your role model, all those role models in one way, shape, or form. And whatever we're pursuing and what we're doing in daily life is, what would you tell maybe the younger you, they like to say, or what would you tell this younger person that is coming up and you don't want to repeat your errors, or I like to say your life lessons. You make their journey a little easier because you're exposing some of the mind shift remedies that you began and you start implementing some of these, taking it in. What would you tell them if they came to you? What would you say to keep them moving, to even keep them going? And what I like to say also is don't, and they will watch you. They will watch you. If you're going to say something, I would say you walk with them side by side with it. If I'm going to tell this person to do this, I need to do the same. Or if I did it and I forgot about it, I didn't think about it, just slipped my mind, maybe I need to reinstitute that thought back into my mind. I need to make those tasks more manageable. I need to build that momentum and confidence saying, yes, I can do that. I need to take each one of those steps and just step up one. It may choose to take one of those steps once a day, twice a day. How many do I want to climb today, right now? And the last is that reflecting and adjusting. Reflecting is What can I take out of this? How far did I go? How much did I move in this? Or maybe the needle didn't even move, but my physically, a lot of times we look at physical progress, the tangible progress. What about some of the intangibles? Some about your mind progress or how you react. That's one of the biggest ones, your reaction to a lot of, let's say, difficult conversations that we said, or some difficult relationships. What adjustment, necessary adjustment, do we need to make in our approach to move forward? How can we tackle this next one when it comes up again as I'm reflecting on it? What is my mind saying? What are my thoughts saying? My overall wellness, what is going to give me peace to move forward? And sometimes when it comes to responses, sometimes silence is a good response. Some people don't like silence, but it's a good response, especially when you're reflecting and you want to adjust and move and pivot in a different direction. Or even I'm saying even response. You say, I used to respond this way and I didn't. And sometimes we're looking for that external validation. Validate it internally with yourself. They may not know where you came from or what you've endured. You do for yourself. You know what you've done. So it's reflecting just that way with your confidence. Take the pieces that you have let flow in the wind like pollen. Take them back. They're going to collect how pollen collects on your car and you have this layer of yellow on your car. Take that layer, that blanket, and lay it on yourself and absorb it back in. Take your pieces back to be your own remedy. You are your own remedy. At times, yes, we need outside help. Outside help can give us suggestions, strategies, and ways to do it, but we have to choose to implement them. We have to choose to break the cycle. And when you break the cycle, you'll rise higher in every step that you take, every step that you make physically and mentally, and breaking your cycle and taking that action from your cycle that you have. Some of the cycles that we have, we got them imprinted when we were younger, like I said before, but what we've seen and what we want to do and move forward from our parents, from our friends, we have to exchange and get rid of some of those out. So we just have to adjust and pivot. As I said, some way to see these more clearly is, how can we do this? What are some of the strategies that we have that we can do next? What are we going to be able to do next? Some of those is, I say, is set those clear goals. They're SMART goals. A lot of times, define them. Be specific with it. Measurable. I'm going to get this done in a week. I'm gonna get this done in a month. Make them with not so high standard where you can't complete it, but don't make it too easy where you'll get it done in maybe one day. But it depends, short-term or long-term goals. So, but know when you set those goals, one thing is that I will encourage you is know what and why you're doing it. I think the why is the biggest one. People forget why they're doing it, or they focus so much on the why it stops them, because that's when all those, as we said before, we need to extinguish some of those roots of self-sabotage where they came from. So why you want to do it and make it better when you set those goals and those habits. As to that we're going to replace those negative habits with some productive ones. See, I didn't only say positive. They have to be 2 P's, positive and productive. What can they be? And it's how you feel it is. It's not what society says is negative all the time. It's not what others say, other people's opinions are. It's productive, positive ones. As I said, your reaction, or let's say even your temper, you calmed yourself, or you didn't let emotions overtake you. You responded differently. You had a choice and you set that goal. I'm going to react differently. I'm going to react more positively. You're starting to have this more productive, positive habit that you're doing, and be proud of it. Enjoy those small wins, especially surrounding yourself with a great network. And the network, sometimes your friends aren't always your friends. There can be your frenemies a lot of times. It's like, are the people that you're surrounding, are they there to uplift you and help you enjoy some of those small wins, not just the big wins? Are they there for mutual benefit? Are you both learning? Are you both growing together? And Another big thing too is in your support network. Are they being honest with you? They're not being just a yes person. Or are they going to disagree with you? Are they going to be honest or give you some other strategies, some ideas to help you grow? Are they going to help you move in that mindset, not keep you on a fixed mindset of saying that I can't, I won't, those coulda, shoulda, wouldas? Are they saying you may not be able to do it now, but we maybe do it later? Or they're just saying, oh, you can't do that. Why do you want to do that? Those are the ones you need to move from your circle. Those are the people, love them at a distance. It can be family that may not be supporting you. You have to look at your support system around you and how to make that work for you. And again, a lot of times is, as we said, with failure, embrace that failure. It is a stepping stone to success. It is not you in the valley and trenches by yourself all the time. Sometimes we need to be by ourselves to actually clear our mind and think, hear our own thoughts, our own true thoughts, and separate them. But that time, especially, if you're strong in faith, look to your faith. What do you look at? Where do you go to find your light? Where do you go to find your power, to extract it and implement it in yourself? Go to those places. Go to those people. Sometimes, like I said, it's not bad when you feel in limbo, in that uncomfortable zone of not knowing what else to do. It just means you just developed and grown to another level of somewhere new. It's like walking into a building you've never been and you have to learn that building. You learn the first floor, let's say like in a mall, it has two different floors, let's say. You know where everything is on that first floor. You know how to get there within a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes. But wait, they just changed it. They just rearranged the first floor. Now you have to start all over again. This can be a little anxiety sometimes, a little uncomfortable, but you go in there and do it. Just means, okay, I'm making my mind stronger. I'm opening myself up to change, to being spontaneous. When I'm so used to and comfortable with, I have to know all the details. I have to know everything. I have to move forward right now. I can't move until I have A, B, C, D in place, and I can't have any mistakes in it. But sometimes, as I said, that masterpiece, that just glass masterpiece that just broke and fell over the floor, is it a mess? Or are they just individual beautiful pieces that I have to just take and put back together again? And then it may fall again and break again. I just have to make another beautiful masterpiece. We have different pieces that we may feel like we break a lot of time. They're beautiful pieces of us. The pruning part, there were beautiful pieces of us at that moment, maybe, that helped us survive and move forward. But now we're going to replace that piece with a better version, I'll say, that helped us grow and move forward to be that better growth and version of ourselves. So it's embracing a lot of that growth that you have, those positive habits that you have that you want to say. A lot of times is, I can do it. There's really nothing, as I say, that you cannot do. It's what we choose we can't do. And if we cannot do it yet, if it is not our strength or our gift, there is somebody that does. And be okay to ask for that help. That is another thing. Asking for the help that you need when you need it. The tools in your toolbox, you may need to get another tool. That's another team member. That's another person whose gift can do something better, faster than you can, but it's still going to help you move forward and get rid of some of that self-sabotage. It's okay not to have all the tools you need in that toolbox. It's okay. That's the reason you have people around you. Because the reason why you go to a store and go buy what you need. Go out and network and get the people that you may need to help you move forward. And another strategy too, sometimes you may need to have a coach. Have a coach, or even with therapy, or some of the roots in your tree. Do you need to heal from them? Do you need help learning how to heal from them? So they can provide the essential tools and perspectives that you may need to move forward and implement to take those actions. That is okay too, because you are investing in yourself and you're moving forward and implementing what you need to give you your peace of mind and giving yourself the happiness and joy that maybe you just forgot about, or that was just, I would say, just put on hold and paused because of other feelings and other emotions have overcame and overwhelmed herself with that, which is, as long as you don't stay there and you don't linger there. You have to feel it, not numb it. Because when you work through it and you find coping mechanisms and strategies, if that feeling comes up again, you know how to handle it. And if you don't, you have other tools in that toolbox or other people that you can say, hey, I need another remedy. I need another strategy because this one's not working for this. So maybe let me try another learning opportunity. What else I can do? What can I do to move forward to help me, myself? Because you are the most important person in your life. And one thing is, I want to say too is knowing yourself is big. When I said you're the most important person in your life. So the power of self-knowledge. Saw this somewhere. It's like knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself is true wisdom. I think it was Lyle. I think I can spell it. I'm not sure how I try to say it. It's Lao, I think TZU is where that came from. And that's powerful to me. You can learn, you can be a profile of others, but learning who you are is true wisdom as yourself, especially how a lot of times, especially with me recovering from brain surgery, I sit and say, that's how I was, and I want to get back to how I was. That's incorrect to say because I'm not being specific. Some things I want to be better at or do just as well before the injury occurred. And to me, you have to say, I want to be a better level, a better version. So when we have the power of this knowledge, that self-reflection is what I'm speaking about, of examining my thoughts, my feelings, and my behaviors. I love to journal and I love to write to get it out, to clear my mind, because those are in the way. It's kind of like when you have a train track and you have all these tracks moving and nothing gets out the way. So in order to get out the way, I have to maybe, instead of riding on that engine going so fast, I have to ride in a caboose so I can sit and look at the big picture and not just focus on the small things sometimes, because the small things are sometimes drowning me and keeping me there. We have to move like the engine, but also slow down, not going so fast, so we can see the whole track and the beautiful scenery that's on, let's say, that mountainside that we go. So seeking that feedback, but I also encourage you too is understanding your better self by working areas where you might see yourself sabotaging. So it is getting that feedback from others. As I said, get it from a source that has good intentions for you. They're going to be honest and they're going to show your blind spots and your strengths and tell you how to capitalize on them, but even capitalize on your blind spots. Yeah, I might not be able to do this that well as that person, but I have this person that can help me do what I need to do. That's a strength when you can be aware of all of that. And again, it's the professional help. Nothing is wrong with getting therapy and coaching. Everyone always has a coach. Everyone does. Everyone's going to need therapy sometimes. And sometimes, as I said before, the biggest thing that I see a lot in adults, some adults, they forget to have fun and they forget what their passion is a lot of times. And so in self-sabotaging, I want you just to really reflect on how you may be sabotaging your life, or maybe the thoughts that you're having that is like the little ones side. The glass, it's in the middle. Sometimes I feel half empty, I feel half full. But you want to feel half full. And what are you putting in your mind? What are you filling your mind with? So doing this, I hope that you've learned some strategies, some roots identifying what self-sabotage is, some ways that you can actually seek help, some ways that you can implement and move forward. And this is a plethora of information, but I do encourage you to just take that step, just to take, I would say, one step forward each day, no matter how big or small it is. I want to see you master your journey as I would like you I would like for you to do, because the path of the journey, it begins with you. So breaking free from the self sabotage is just one way of true success and fulfillment that you can actually give give to yourself, and commit to always growing and moving and what you're doing. So self sabotage is going to be a battle that's always fought in the mind, but it doesn't have to be a losing one. So today I hope you've gained some tools to recognize some of the patterns that held you back. Remember that the greatest obstacle that you have is to overcome it. Your success is out there. It's within you. So you have to see that it's always within you, and you have the power to sabotage yourself, but you also have the power to reflect and free yourself, lift yourself up from it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you can do. The truth, which one do you choose to do? Imagine that you could achieve anything if you just silence those thoughts, if you overcame those fears, if you even embrace your true potential. It's time right now, today, stop being your own worst enemy and start becoming your greatest ally. The world's waiting for your greatness. You're in the world now to do something. So don't let another day pass you by without showing it. Take your action now, and the change begins right now. It begins with you. Like I said, that single step, it starts with you, where else you need to go and where else you need to be. So celebrate all your small wins and walk on the path that begins with you. And thank you for allowing me to spend time with you today and learning and implementing and achieving self-sabotage.
So good. I mean, I was, just sitting there listening and having my tea, but I was like, oh my gosh, this was just eye-opening. And I'm hopeful that you can actually do a recap of this, in one of your future presentations, just to kind of see how we're doing, okay? To check in on us and, to um, hold us accountable, because self-sabotage is real and all of us experience it from time to time, um, not even realizing sometimes that that's what we're experiencing. And so you shed some beautiful light on what it is that is happening and how we can overcome. And I just look forward to you being back with us again. But for those of you who have hung in here with us, we're at the top of the hour. And so we have to, close everything out. But we look forward to having you come back again with us, and we will see you again next time.